I had to work on this old tree. The lights that were on it were burnt out. They burnt out last year during the winter when I already had it outside, so I threw lights over top of those, but I took the lights off, took the old lights off and put them back on properly. It's not a one and done for me personally. I like to play with them. Playing with them at night's better. I never did get the lights just right around the archway in front of the vegetable garden. It got cold. I didn't want to play with lights in the dark in the cold. They work and they come on. I'm leave it at that for now. But I turned the heat on in here. When I first came in, it got too hot, so I was able to turn it back off. So it's off, but when I'm in here working, I can turn it back on. The propagation tray, I can tell by looking at it that it's wet. See how humid the box is? I don't have to do anything with it. I should check the heat mats once in a while, make sure they're warm. I have them low. 57 is, I believe, what it says. That works, because when it's really cold, they're on all the time. So if it warms up in here, I would like them to have that chance to shut off, to cycle. And it's got a gauge, so it's the soil that will get 57 or 55 or whatever I have it set for. That's so it won't freeze. The soil won't freeze. And the heat rises, so the heat will rise up above and hopefully keep the foliage from freezing. I could cover this, and I've done it in the past, and I hated it. I hated the look of it. I like to come in here and get warm. I have Kleenex in here. I can, when it's cold, it makes my nose run, so I have to come in here and get warm and grab a Kleenex and gloves, whatever. And I don't want it to look like plastic on the inside. The new growth, it's not going to come up right away because we're going into the dead zone of winter. I have to just allow it to be what it is. Taking stuff in the house doesn't need to be taking up space. I brought my sage in from the greenhouse. Wasn't on the heat mat, and I have a bright window, so I'm going to try it here. I've done it in the greenhouse, and it will lose all its leaves. Like, they'll turn this nasty winter. I did cut this yesterday and propagate it. I have my thyme too that I want to stick in here, so which means I have to find a place for this. Baby elephant ears have been doing really good. I don't really know if I want to move those. But what I noticed was this pot is really cold. It didn't feel cold because I was dressed to be outside. And it is about freezing today. I think I need to move this one to the outside, put this one in the middle. Look how pretty these leaves are. The camera is not picking it up. That's too bad. But anyway, yeah, real pretty colors. I don't have anything underneath the trays, but I stuck a little pot underneath each hole. This is a sweet potato, which I just took a leaf off of, and I took 2 leaves off the sage and put it in the chicken bucket. I have a sweet potato plant down here. And last year, I also had a sweet potato in the house all winter, And then I did some cuttings, and all my sweet potatoes came from the same plant. So, sweet potato, year 2, right? And then next year when I put it in the ground, it'll be year 3. It's an accidental feverfew rooting. The dog broke it. I stuck it in water. And I was getting ready to throw it out, and I noticed there were roots on it. So I cut it in half. Put the other half in here because it was a tall piece. So let me get this foliage off of it and change the water. And yeah, that was cool. Happy accident. Serendipitous. My first amaryllis. When I bought this bulb on sale, it had bloomed in the bag. It was 50% off, but I was looking for a couple of years for a white one. And because it had bloomed, I knew it was white. And it bloomed for me late last year because I cut the bloom off and restarted it. And it sent off another beautiful bloom. And I have them dotted around the house, amaryllis bulbs. And my mandevilla, surprisingly, bloomed. So I have to be very careful watering this time of year because I just water on a schedule, these things stop drinking, and I end up waterlogging them. They go dormant and they stop drinking, but that one shot out of flower and it is dry. So I think I'm going to give it a little fertilizer, weak fertilizer. I added a bar to the top so I could move up some of my pots, those hanging ones. I had them hanging on this plant shelf and it was making it too heavy in the middle. This amaryllis surprised me with the flower. I bought it on sale after Christmas and it had already bloomed in the bag. Somebody ripped it open and let it pop out, but it was spent. But I wanted a white one. I've been looking for a white amaryllis for 2 years. So even though it was already spent, I wanted the bulb. I cut up and cooked my last pie pumpkin, and I'm going to go ahead and plant these seeds. They need a cold stratification, so I'm going to plant them on the back of the vegetable garden fence. I have some blackberry seeds. I'm also going to plant for the same reason. I'm going to plant these on the arch going into the garden. I did label it. So I guess the only thing that could go wrong here would be if the critters ended up getting them. I'll take the rest of the pumpkin seeds and put them in the crisper drawer in the refrigerator so they have the cold stratification. And I'm going to start everything in the greenhouse this year because I had so much loss from critters. And the big pumpkins that I gave to my chickens, I planted on the outside of the fence back here. For my hardy perennials are hanging out for the winter. I think I tucked 3 seeds in there. I need a place where they can freely sprawl without getting mowed over. I thought maybe that propagation tray was looking a little bit too wet, so I propped it up. Get some airflow. And then I'll put it back down later.